Well, what up, Steeler Nation? Today I'm going to be giving you my game-by-game predictions for the 2020 season. This year it looks like we have a pretty solid team, a lot of young pieces on both sides of the ball, have a young receiving core, but we have some exciting weapons to work with. The offensive line hopefully will be a little bit better than it was last year, and most importantly that our leader quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, stays healthy. If he stays healthy, we could be a Super Bowl contending team. If he is not, our season is over. I don't care who the backup ends up being. It doesn't matter. If Ben goes down, our season is done. So our season is riding or dying by Ben Roethlisberger. So we're going to go through the Steelers' 2020 schedule, and I'm going to give you my prediction for each game. It's still early, but right now we're just looking for something to get us ready for football season. So starting off with week 1 at the New York Giants. Originally, I had this one as a win. Giants, I still think they're still a year away from being a true contending team. Daniel Jones needs to cut back on the turnovers, and the Steelers led the league in turnovers last year. However, with a shortened offseason, I think it could actually go against us on the road to start off the year. Again, I don't know how many fans are going to be in the stands, so we don't know how much home field advantage is really going to have a factor. But let's remember that Joe Judge, their head coach, is coming from New England. New England is always big on preparation, being prepared, all of the little details. Though one of the very few cons of Mike Tomlin as the head coach of the Steelers has been preparation, and maybe after having extended time off. Even if the full preseason is played, the starters won't have played the final preseason game more than likely, so they're going to have had a couple of weeks off. And sometimes those are the times where Coach Tomlin struggles. Starting off the year on the road isn't easy, especially in New York at MetLife Stadium. So I'm going to actually say the Steelers lose this one and come back week 2 and beat the Broncos, who I originally had us losing to in the home opener, just because the Steelers do tend to play very well in the home opener. I'm going to count that one as a win, but I may swap those two back and forth. I think one of our first 2 games will be a loss, I'll put it that way. But I think Denver's a really good team this year. I think they could seriously be a playoff team. I think Drew Lock's going to take off and have a fantastic year. But because it is at home, I'm going to say that we get the win. We seem to play better at home. Again, we'll see what happens with home field advantage with the amount of fans in the stands. I don't know how much of a factor that will play. But for now, I will play it a little bit safer and have us winning at home, losing on the road. And then going on to week 3 at 1-1, playing the Texans, who I don't think are going to be that good this year. So I think we'll beat the Texans pretty easily. Following week, we play the Titans. I'm not sure their run game is going to be quite as good as it was last year. Teams are going to adapt. Teams are going to figure out what they need to do to stop Derrick Henry. The offensive line may not be quite as good as it was last year. Their defense, they didn't add enough pass rush, in my opinion. I think they still could be the second-place team in that division. I think Indianapolis is the best team of right now. But I think that we can handle Tennessee. We have more weapons on offense, and honestly, we have a splashier defense than they do right now. So I think we'll win it just based on talent. Then we come back home, week 5 against Philadelphia. This one's a tough one because the Steelers seem to struggle against Eagles in the Steagles Pennsylvania rivalry. I'm going to say we win this one, but you really never know. I'm not sure what to think of the Eagles right now just because they have so many young receivers. And I'm still not sure if they address the secondary enough. I know they got Davion Taylor in the draft who can play safety. They may move Jalen Mills to safety. They brought in Darius Slay, who should help their secondary a lot. But I still have a few concerns about the defense. So I'm going to say that we win this one. But again, by the time we get to week 5, I may change on that. But of right now, I think we can come out of there with a win. Being at home at Heinz Field, I think we win. Week 6 against the Browns and Miles Helmet. I'm going to say that we actually lose this one. We're going to drop a home game more than likely at some point. I'm going to call it this one. I thought about making the home loss against the Ravens later in the year on Thanksgiving Day because we tend to lose at home against the Ravens and then we beat the Ravens in Baltimore. I don't know why it works that way, but it seemed to work that way a couple times in the past couple of years. But this time I'm going to say we lose the Browns at home. We've won 4 straight in this scenario, so I think we're going to drop one. Hopefully, at this point, we'll still be a pretty healthy team going into the bye week, only being 2 weeks away from the bye week. I think that Miles' helmet's going to be hot. He's going to be trying to get revenge. Hopefully, Mason Rudolph will not be the quarterback. If he is, I definitely think the Browns will win. But I think the Browns are a better team this year. Kevin Stefanski is a better coach than Freddie Kitchens. And I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a nice bounce-back year. I'm not sure what his ceiling is as an NFL quarterback, but I think it's higher than some people are saying it is after the year he had last year. So I think they're going to come out fiery. They're going to come out. They're going to start off the season really well. And I think that momentum will lead them to a win in Pittsburgh Week 6. Week 7 at the Baltimore Ravens. I think we will handle the Dirty Birds. Actually, oh boy. I'm going to call this one a loss, actually. I'm going to switch on this one. I am going to have us losing at Baltimore. 2 losses in a row. You never want to have 2 losses going straight into the bye week. Kills all the momentum that you had after winning 4 straight. But I think Lamar Jackson will eat us the first time, and then I think we'll get revenge on Thanksgiving Day. Week 8 is the bye week, so we're 4-3 going into the bye with 7 teams. If you're looking at just being able to get into the playoffs, with 7 teams now in the playoffs, I think we'd be almost a lock into the playoffs if we are still a healthy team. We generally seem to play better on the second half, but that all depends on how healthy we are. Week 9, though, this is where it's going to get a little bit tough. The Steelers don't generally play well outside of bye weeks. Again, that extended time off. Mike Tomlin does not always do a good job in those situations. I'm going to say that we lose to the Cowboys, or the Cowgirls if you'd rather. I believe we lose to the Dirty Birds and then the Cowgirls back-to-back. It's the game of the week. CBS gets it that week. Tony Romo and Jim Nance, the Cowboys fans, get to call it. Which I will say, they do a fantastic job, by the way. Very rare that I give credit to a Cowboys fan or a former Cowboys player. But nonetheless, they do a good job. But I think at Dallas, after a bye week, it doesn't appeal to me as a good game for us. Week 10 against the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals are there yet either. Joe Burrow, I think he's going to have a good year, but their defense still stinks. They have William Jackson. Maybe he has a solid year. Carlos Dunlap, couple pieces, but their defense is still pretty much garbage. I think we come out there with a win, especially since it's at home. Knowing we're 4-4, we have to get some wins. Fortunately, the game after that is at Jacksonville. I think they're the worst team in the league. We tend to drop a game to some of the worst teams in the league every year. I think this year, though, we're pretty safe with Jacksonville. I think we will beat them. We do seem to struggle against Florida teams as well, so we definitely need to be cautious here, but I do think we will come out with a win. Then we play Thanksgiving Day game against the Dirty Birds. I think we come out there with a win. Short week. I actually like the short week. That Tomlin seems to do better the shorter the week is. The past couple years before last year on Thursday Night Football, we tended to do pretty well. That's why I was a little bit disappointed not to see a Thursday Night Football game on the schedule this year. I know a lot of people don't like it. I'm actually the opposite. I enjoy it. I get it on my TV because of Fox. I get on a national TV broadcast. Since I'm not in the Pittsburgh area, I like every chance I can get to see a Steelers game nationally televised. But I think we'll come out there with a win Thanksgiving Day. Last time we played on Thanksgiving Day, we won. We had a couple of good Thanksgiving Day games against the Ravens and then against the Colts. Of course, Scott Tolzien was the quarterback, so can't put too much weight on that. But I think we'll come out there with a win. So at this point, we still have 4 losses. So we are 11 games in, 7-4. I'd be feeling pretty good with 7-4 right now, of at least making the playoffs. Not sure about a playoff run. Again, depends on health. I think we'll beat the Redskins. Following that up, I'm gonna call the Bills game a loss. I think Josh Allen is a really good quarterback. They've given him weapons to succeed this year. The offensive line there is pretty good. I think that Zach Moss is going to really help their running game, along with Devin Singletary, who had a really nice year last year. And then they brought in Stephon Diggs, wide receiver. So I think that, and Dawson Knox, don't forget him, tight end. I think he's a really good tight end as well. So I think Buffalo is a sneaky team that could end up even being Super Bowl contenders if Josh Allen continues to develop as a passer and become more accurate. We've seen what he can do with his legs, and we've seen his arm strength. Let's see what he can do placing the ball in tight situations. If he can do that, I think he becomes an elite quarterback in the NFL. Week 15 at Cincinnati again. I think we win. It's on Monday Night Football in Cincy, but I still think we take care of business. I don't think we need to worry about Cincinnati until next year. And Indianapolis, this is a game a lot of people have as a loss. I think we'll handle them. Phillip Rivers isn't the same quarterback he used to be. I think they had another really good draft. Chris Ballard has done a great job assembling that team. But I think we'll come out there with a win. It's at home. We have some good momentum going here after our win against our rival in Cincinnati. And then we'll finish out the year against Cleveland. I think that for momentum will continue, and I think I'm going to call that one a win as well. Finishes out with an 11-5 record. I think that could possibly win us the division. I think Lamar Jackson's going to take a step back this year. I really do. I think he's still going to be really good, but defenses are going to have another year to be able to scheme for a running quarterback of Lamar Jackson's caliber and stuff, whether that's putting more guys on contain, the linebackers on contain, or just mixing things up more. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to take a step backward this year. I still think they're going to be 11-5, 12-14. They had an excellent draft. But if we can at least win one game against them this year, I think we have a chance. If we have a chance at winning the tiebreak against them, though I do have us losing against the Browns, a lot of it will come down to division play, I think. A couple of guys to keep an eye on, of course, my guy in Michigan, Devin Bush, go blue. I think could be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Keep an eye on him. I think he's going to take that next step this year. We already have an excellent defense. TJ Watt could be Defensive Player of the Year. Wouldn't surprise me. Minkah Fitzpatrick. I don't know if he's going to have the same amount of turnovers as he did last year. I don't know if this defense really can have as many turnovers as they did last year. But also keep an eye on Justin Lane as a sleeper. I don't know what Joe Hayden has left in the tank. I think he still has one more good year. But if he starts to struggle, don't be surprised if Justin Lane comes in, the third-round pick from last year, and can take over and handle a starting spot. I really think he has a chance at being a future number one corner for the Steelers. He has good ball skills, good length, can play press man coverage at a really high level. Keep an eye on him. And then, of course, the receiving core. A lot of young receivers to keep an eye on. We'll see if they bring in depth at safety, maybe a nose tackle, a linebacker. I'd be interested to see if they brought back Martavis Bryant just to have a deep threat, because I don't think we have that. But if you're a Steelers fan out there and you want to comment on the schedule or on anything of the Steelers 2020, maybe even the 2021 NFL Draft, anything Steelers related, let me know in the comments section. If you have any questions about the Steelers that you want me to answer, I will answer them in my next video. So be sure to let me know about them. That is all for today. As always, go Steelers, and we will see you next time.